Good morning to all my friends and family, and welcome to this episode of Jim's 5am Club. It's Wednesday, and we have the beginning of another beautiful, another magical Sydney summer's day. And we've got another ship coming in to dock up at the International Passenger Terminal. It seems to be happening on a regular occurrence these days, and we can just remember a year or two ago when all the cruise ships coming to Australia were put on hold because of COVID and all of the issues that we faced, not only here in Australia but across the globe. Anyway, this morning I come to you from a place called Dawes Point, where I'm just underneath the southern pylon of the magnificent Sydney Harbour Bridge. So above me I've got trains, I've got cars going to and fro, and we have this magnificent cruise ship slowly edging its way into the International Passenger Terminal. So what I'll do is I'll continue my tradition of Jim's 5am Club, where we will do a walk and talk and learn and incorporate some additional OPE into our lives. We've learnt over time that the art of learning is simply the ability to attach the unknown to the known. And the more we know, the more we learn, the more capable we are of attaching other things to those things that we know. So, big call to action for each and every one of us is to become life learners, to go on a journey of learning and to never cease being curious, never cease having an open mind, and to welcome new material into our lives in order for us to broaden our horizons where possible, where we can complement and supplement what we already know, and we can also pressure test what we know with knowledge and wisdom that comes from other people's experiences, OPE. Because one thing for sure and for certain is that each of us are going to have a completely different lifetime. We're going to enjoy a different past, having been born at a different point in history, and we're all going to enjoy and experience a different now, a different present. I am here, you are there, you're somewhere else. You could be somewhere in a different time sphere to where I am today. You may be listening to this video in a decade or 100 years' time. But what I want to impress upon you is that we can learn from each other regardless of whether or not we've lived in the same moment of time. Just like we can learn from our forefathers, from our elders, from our ancestors, we can also learn from each other. And there is no doubt that we're going to live a different future. My future is going to be different to yours. Everybody's future is different, just like everybody's present is different, and everybody's past is different as well. So what I want to do today is go through a book summary entitled The Secrets of Naval Ravikant by, of course, Naval Ravikant. It's a book summary on a particular person's life and their accumulated wisdom over life. And it's an opportunity for us to compare our slithers of reality to Naval's slithers of reality. Because as we mentioned before, because we're all going to live in different times and have different experiences, we're going to also enjoy and observe and experience vastly different slithers of reality. The slithers of reality that I have accumulated over time and the compounding effect of those unique slithers of reality are going to be vastly different to your slithers, your parents' slithers, our grandparents' slithers, our brothers and sisters and cousins' slithers of reality. So I guess we need to appreciate it, we need to understand it and to accept it, that we're all different from each other, but most importantly, we were made different from each other so we can be different for each other. So to be able to leverage those differences and make the most of those differences so that we have purpose and meaning in our lives. So Naval in this book talks about various things, and he kicks off the book summary with an observation that desire is a contract that you make with yourself to be unhappy until you get what you want. Naval was a leader in his field with lots of hands-on knowledge on how to build wealth and how to live well. So he's taken the opportunity to document that knowledge and that accumulated wisdom and to put it into a book. And I guess we're all invited to do the same with our lives. I remember Anthony Robbins saying years ago, a life worth living is a life worth documenting. So rather than having a bookshelf at home full of books from other authors, we are invited to fill our bookshelves, fill our libraries with books of our own knowledge and of our own making. So why not journal your life? Why not put down and write down your thoughts, your fears, your hopes, your aspirations, and create your own library and your own repository of wisdom. And that is what I'm trying to do with Jim's 5 a.m. Club. I'm at a point now where today I'm going to celebrate my 1,455th book summary. And I was just reminiscing and thinking about it and saying to myself earlier today that if I lived in the ancient Greek times, the work that I've done to accumulate all of this OPE would have been possibly the equivalent of Herodotus or Aesop's with the accumulation of their knowledge and their wisdom that they passed on to not only their contemporaries but also to future generations. So as I said, we're all invited to the party, we're all invited to grow and develop and to create as much as we can so that we can live, learn and pass it on. Because the other beautiful thing that we have today, right here, right now, is we live in a world where the internet virtually connects everyone to everything at once, and our sphere of connection is also almost infinite. We have no limits. We can all vicariously be and do and experience everything at the touch of a button. And abundance is a choice that we all have. But with that choice comes a blessing and a warning as well, because the most choice that you have, the greater the variety that you could enjoy in life, means that you have to make some choices. And with those choices, what happens is that we also get to experience anxiety about our future, because each choice, each decision we make is going to lead us in a different direction through the power of compounding, step by step, week by week, year by year. We are an expression of the compound outcomes of all of the decisions that we've ever made in our lives, or the decisions that our parents and friends and other people have made over the years. So as we said, abundance of choice creates anxiety, and we need to know very, very clearly what you want in life, who you want to be, and how you want to live your life. And you need to make sure that everything you do is an expression of your desires, your wants, your needs, and your values. Because the last thing you want to do is to live somebody else's life. The last thing we want to do is to look back over our futures, over our past, should I say, and say, you know, I didn't do it my way. I didn't serve God. I didn't glorify God. I didn't serve my neighbour. I didn't do the things that I should have been doing. So we have a wake-up call, we have a call to action, and we have an opportunity to try and do the things that we need to do in order to live the life that we deserve, and the life that's going to make us feel fulfilled, and it's the life that's going to add the greatest value, not only to us, our families, but also to others, our communities. And there is, without doubt, a ripple effect. Each and every one of us are an example or a warning to others in terms of what we can do, what we should do, and what is something that is God-pleasing. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to cross the harbour, or cross under the harbour bridge, to go to Pier 1, where I'll be able to get a better view of this magnificent sunrise, which is occurring just on the other side there of the Opera House. It's another perfect summer's morning here in Sydney town, and another perfect sunrise. And as I mentioned on all of my vlogs, I'm just surprised that at this perfect moment in the day, there is just so few people about. If you get up a little bit earlier, you're going to experience life to a point of perfection. You know, there are a lot of people at the moment who are still in bed. There are a lot of people who are, you know, not going to enjoy this moment, but thankfully with the aid of digital media, I'm able to allow you, I guess, to experience this moment in time from this wonderful location, where you too can see what I am seeing, be here where I am, and enjoy the gift of God, the gift of creation, and the dawning of yet another day. So the first point to come from this author is where they talk about the magic, or he talks about the magic of compounding, of doing little things, taking little steps day by day, by practicing purposefully and doing things in a purposeful, meaningful way, because it's going to lead you to a magical destination. But you need to be able to identify that destination in your mind's eye. Who do you want to be? Where do you want to go? And what do you want to achieve in your lifetime? And it's going to be a different story for each and every person, because we all have a different calling or callings. You know, we're not all here on earth to do the same thing. As a general rule, as we know, the purpose in life is to serve God, to glorify God with all our heart, mind and soul, and also to serve each other, serve God, and to love one another as we love ourselves. And what we do from moment to moment, what we do from day to day, can have a massive impact over a lifetime. As we say from time to time, each of us have an allotted lifetime. It could be 100 years, it could be 70, or it could be, much, much less than that. We don't know. Nobody knows how long they're going to live. But what we can do is we can walk the right path and to create the best possible life for ourselves, our families, and for others around us by being contributors. And it means that we need to invest in ourselves initially. We need to be selfish before we can become selfless is the big message. And we can enjoy the fruits of compounding, not only in our financial lives, but also in our education and in our relationships, because whatever we do on a regular basis, whatever we do from day to day, is going to build a bridge to where we're going to end up. Sometimes that bridge will lead us to a dead end. Other times it'll lead us to a new path, to new windows, to new places for us to once again make decisions. Do I take the high road or do I take the low road? Do I take the easy road or do I take the hard road? So we all face decisions, but the important thing for each and every one of us is to sit and consider, is what I am doing at this point in time the most productive thing that I can do with my time? And is what I am doing right now serving God? Is what I'm doing now serving my neighbour? Is what I'm doing now God pleasing? And that in itself will help guide us, will help guide our decisions, and hopefully get us working and moving in the best direction so that we can live a magical and purposeful life. So what else can we glean from this author? This author talks about, as I said before, the power of compounding. And he says that we can use compounding in all aspects of our lives, and we can use it in our relationships as well. Because as Jim Rohn says, each and every one of us, at the end of the day, are the average and the expression of the half dozen people that we spend most of our time with. So we need to be discerning with the company we keep. We need to be discerning with the books that we read. We need to be discerning with the internet people, the influencers that we follow, and to make sure that the decisions that we're making are the most productive, are the most useful that we have, that we can make, and they're going to help compound us. They're going to help snowball where we're going and how fast we're going to get there, knowing very well that the first few steps are going to be tough. Every road, every path has a hump in it, and we need to build up a certain head of steam. We need to have a certain level of momentum to help us get over those initial humps. And once we get over that initial hump, then the path opens up and life becomes much easier, because we build up that head of steam, we build up the snowball effect, and we start moving, and we get moving faster and faster and faster, knowing very well that if we made the wrong decisions, we're going to also have a compounding effect that's going to move us in the wrong direction with increasing and exponentially faster speed. So we need to be discerning, as I mentioned. We need to look back, we need to think about what we're doing and assess what are going to be the first, second and third level consequences. And as Albert Einstein says, compounding is the eighth wonder of the world. And if you're doing the right things at the right time in a consistent fashion, then you're going to be successful, and you're going to be reliable and dependable and trustworthy, because by doing these things, by following the time-tested rules in life, you're going to grow and develop, and you're going to influence people in a positive way, and you're going to add value to your environment and to your community, rather than just be a virtual signaler. A virtue signaler is what I'm trying to say. Sorry about that. So we need to build our reputation, our integrity, and we need to use the compounding rule to get there. So do the right thing and do it consistently, knowing very well that at some point in time it's going to become a habit, and it's going to become automated in your life practices. And we need to be on top of our brand and our marketing. And to know one thing, this is a very, very profound statement by Naval. Not the best product becomes the best product. So what he's saying, let me just be very clear here. It's not the best product that is the best product. It's the best known product or the best known person that becomes the best overall. So that's why it's important. That's why it's critical to be on top of your reputation, of your integrity. And as we know, and as we say, it's not who you know that counts. It's not what you know that counts, but it's who knows you that counts the most. So we need to be careful of our reputation. We need to market ourselves. We need to spin our story in a way so that we become memorable, so people know us and remember us for whatever reason it is. And as we said before, each and every one of us have our own calling and callings. If you're living and expressing your calling, then chances are you're going to be known for that calling, whatever that calling is. So the call to action is to invest in oneself, because as we said, you need to be selfish before you can become selfless. You need to build wealth before you can use your wealth. You need to build your education before you can use that education. You need to build a network before you can use that network. So we're all in a work in progress. We're all in a building state or stage of our lives, and we need to do that. Our cup needs to overrunneth before we can become useful and valuable to others. We need to save ourselves first before we can save others. We need to become better versions of ourselves before we can be of use and of service to both God and to our neighbours, which means that we need to invest in ourselves. We need to read, we need to grow, we need to develop, we need to go through hardship, we need to suffer, because all of those are a path to a better self, to a better version of yourself. And once you become bigger, stronger, more capable, then you're in a position to be able to help others become bigger, better and stronger as well. So spend a bit of time focusing on yourself. There's nothing wrong with that. Every parent spends time investing, nurturing their children, not to spoil them, but to make them better people, is what we're saying here. And to understand one thing, that in this world that we live in, money is the ultimate tool to freedom. You can't turn your back on your finances. You can't turn your back on money, because every idea that you have needs money and effort to bring it to reality. So we need to grow our mindset, is what Naval is telling us, and not to accept the status quo, because money is great. Money is fantastic if you know how to use it and if you know how to make the most of it. My late Uncle George always used to say that money isn't everything in life, and money won't bring you happiness. But if you don't have money, then your dreams are going to be limited, and you're almost guaranteed to be miserable, because you can't help yourself, and most importantly, you can't help others around you, your family. So money is important because it gives you freedom. It gives options to you and to others. It allows you to buy time. Money allows you and helps you to bring abundance into your life, and it's up to you to figure out how you're going to use that abundance. But there's no better feeling than having every day as a Saturday, and not getting up on a Monday and going, oh no, it's the beginning of the week, and just being miserable. You can have every day being a Saturday. You can make every day the best day of your week. It's a mindset. You can make every day the first day on your job, the first day in a relationship, and keep that mindset. Keep it fresh, keep it open, keep it happy, keep it curious, keep it excited. You know, it's just a mindset. Just ask yourself, I'm going to make today the first day of my life. I'm going to make today the first day of my new creation. And you can buy time, as we said, and you can buy opportunity, and you can spend more time. The more money you make, the more freedom you have. You can spend more time with family, and allowing you to fully express who you are, allow you to fully live your calling, and to live the best possible life that you can live. The last point that comes from this author is on happiness, where he makes a few points. So I'll try and cover these as quickly as I can, because I'm getting on onto half an hour of talking. He says here to be happy, you need to learn to be neutral, and you need to learn to stay quiet and not be overactive and over opinionated and over involved in other people's lives. Don't stress about your future. Don't stress about your past. I remember reading years ago that there are three places that we can spend most of our time. We can spend most of our time in our past, worrying about what happened, what other people did to us, what we didn't do. And they say that if you spend too much time in your past, then chances are that you're going to be depressed, you're going to be unhappy, you're going to be depressed with your life. If you spend too much time in the future, worrying about tomorrow, then chances are you're going to be anxious. You're not going to be fulfilled, you're not going to live in harmony, you're not going to live in peace, because you're always going to be worried about tomorrow. And as we know, you can't change the past, and chances are that you can't plan or create your future either, because God's plans are different for each person. Just because you want something to happen doesn't necessarily mean that God wants it to happen for you at this particular time. God has a plan for each and every one of us, and that's what we learn from the scriptures, not something that I'm trying to make up here. But if you spend too much time in the past or too much time in the future, then guess what? You miss out on the now. You miss out on living your life right here, right now. So the call to action from this author is to spend more time in the eternal now. By all means, have a foot in the past, have a foot in the future, but most of your effort, most of your time needs to be in this present moment, right here, right now, because this is all you have, the present moment. And God tells us, the scriptures tell us, don't spend too much time accumulating for your future. Do whatever's needed to live the now. God will provide for your future. And if you spend too much time accumulating, then you're going to miss out on life. You're going to miss out on the here and now. You're going to miss out on your children growing up. You're going to miss out on the opportunities to find love, to fall in love, to stay in love, and to achieve your ultimate dreams. So, be like a tree, feel the wind, and know and experience what is going on around us right here and now. And don't try and judge right from wrong, because as we say, each of us have a different life. We're going to live a different past, experience a different present, and have a different future. And we are different for each other, and we're different from each other. The reason we are different from each other is that we're different for each other. As we say time and time again, God could have created everything exactly the same. Could have created all the trees the same size, the same colour, the same texture, exactly the same. But how boring would it be going through a forest where everything was exactly the same? But what happens is that God created creation in order for it to be different, to be colourful, to be shaded, so that we could all enjoy it at different times and for different reasons. So the final point from this author is that we shouldn't overthink life, and not to take life too seriously. As we say, we're going to be thrown curveballs all the time. We're going to suffer at some point. Things are going to happen at the same time. We're going to have tsunami of issues. Sometimes we're going to have storms that are going to worry us, are going to threaten us and build on our fears. But we need to have faith to get through it, knowing very well that every storm passes. Yes, it causes flood. Yes, it causes damage, but it's only temporary. It's not permanent. So thank you very much for joining me on this episode of Jim's 5am Club on this beautiful Wednesday morning, where we've gone on yet another walk and talk. I thoroughly enjoy delivering these episodes, and as I say in this series, I'm trying to get to 1,500 or even 2,000 vlogs if I possibly can. It's been a dream of mine to do this, and I never thought that I'd ever get to the point of becoming the most prolific vlogger of personal development material in the world at this point in time. It's been a huge effort, but it's been a wonderful effort, and I feel that I'm growing and developing day by day, and I hope you too can also benefit from it as well. I was just doing some maths last night and thinking to myself, if my granddaughters listened to one vlog a week, it would take 30 years for them to get through my library of material here on my vlog channel, my YouTube channel. I've got a huge variety. It's a one-stop shop. Jim's 5am Club is a one-stop shop. It has a huge variety of material. It has a huge variety of OPE that can cover most issues, most challenges that most people will face in their lives. And I say that this channel here can teach people more about the things that matter most than all of the other contacts that they'll ever have in their lives. As I say, I've pieced together OPE, other people's experiences. I've done it in a way where I've been able to showcase and highlight the beauty of this city of Sydney, and at the same time overlay it with messages of empowerment, where we take 1, 2 or 3 key learnings from people who have written books, people who have incorporated deep thinking about certain topics, people who have been able to document their experiences. Because as we said before, we all can't live every experience. We're only going to get slithers of reality in our lives, and it's up to each and every one of us to benchmark and baseline those slithers of reality to other people's slithers of reality, to see if the slithers that we have are actually real or just on the fringe. Now, you've got people who have agendas, you have people who have ideas, but those ideas could be radical, could be fringe. Just because lots of people talk about them doesn't mean that they're right, doesn't mean that you need to follow what people are saying, what people are doing. There are lots of people who are trying to lead others down a track which will lead to their destruction. But we need to follow the time-tested principles in life. And not everybody has our best interests at heart, which is important to remember. Anyway, take care everybody. Wishing you all the very best on this wonderful Wednesday. I'm down here at Barangaroo now, heading to work. and we'll chat again. Yassas, take care. And we're about to see the semi-final of the 2022 World Cup. My prediction for today is for Croatia to beat Argentina, and tomorrow for Morocco to be beaten by France. I think that France is going to take it out. I'd love to see Croatia take it out, but France have been very, very strong, both defensively and in attack, scoring some wonderful goals. Anyway, that'll do me for today. It's been a longish sort of vlog, but at the end of the day, it's been a wonderful opportunity to connect and to learn something new and to be partners in each other's growth and development. Yassas, take care, and bye for now.